making, and Carlene bounces ideas off me instead of Lynn, which it's nice to be thought of that way, being responsible and whatever. um, but it's a lot of pressure, so I will be very happy when Lynn returns. So on Monday, yeah, on Monday in the afternoon, Alexis and Sandy somehow got in the same area and they started a fight. It happens, usually rare, and we just try to learn from it and make sure that stuff like that doesn't happen again. But they had a fight, and Sandy got a hold of Alexis's everything, and she had a big gash on her leg. So that's what made me look at it and go, I think she should go to the vet. So I took her, and at first the vet looked at her and was like, okay, we'll just give her some lidocaine, and then we'll just do staples in her leg. And then when the doctor brought Alexis in the back to actually do that, she realized how many of Alexis's bite marks from Sandy should be, cleaned out and then sutured. So she came back out and said, how about you pick her up in an hour and a half? We're going to sedate her and sew her up. So when I went to pick her up, the doctor was like, well, she might look like Frankenstein, but she's okay. So that's why Alexis is in the house. And because she needs to be watched so that she doesn't chew her stitches out. Little Bridget got her tail closed in a door on Friday. from the